So, what exactly is clickbait? Clickbait has been around since yellow journalism and is still a part of journalism today.
Clickbait, I think clickbait nowadays is defined as any sort of headline that a news outlet pushes out on social media, and it could typically be sensationalized. So when someone clicks on the story, they're not necessarily getting the story they were promised in the headline.
Those clickbait headlines where you won't believe these 5 things you eat every day are killing you. Well, we gathered a bunch of real lines like that, real headlines, and Rita set them to music to create a song that I believe will be impossible to resist.
It's a Bruce Lee fight. This one strange trick can reduce cellulite. Watch this brave rescue dog regain his sight. You really need to see this.
Clickbait has built up a pretty bad reputation, but yet it still attracts high audience members to articles. Why is that?
And the reason clickbait headlines get such a bad rap is because they're more trickery than delivering the goods. What they're doing is exploiting a part of the human psyche called a closed loop. A closed loop is what your brain expects to hear from a statement. And when your brain doesn't hear the loop close, it actually gets very interested and curious about what was there. For example, what if I just did this? Oh, hey, the crazy thing about an alligator is that they... Okay, now see how I just trailed off over there? That really bugs people's brains. They want to know what was the crazy thing about an alligator.
This curiosity gap has caused a problem for news outlets when it comes to pushing out stories. Studies have shown that when people click on content, they leave in less than 15 seconds. In fact, the attention span of humans has dropped from 12 seconds to 8 in the last 15 years. Even goldfish have longer attention spans than humans now. Because of that, news outlets are trying to find new ways to gain attention.
I think what clickbait is not necessarily that a news outlet has some sort of agenda that they're trying to push in terms of an issue or a controversy and stuff like that. I think it simply comes down to there are all these eyeballs out there, and we all have as an audience so many places to get information. So the audience is so fragmented. So how do we get the audience's attention and get the traffic we need? And some outlets choose clickbait.
One outlet that uses clickbait is the company Vox.
Yeah, so I would say we are a news outlet dedicated to explanation and to helping people understand what's going on in the world and why it's important in a way that other news outlets don't always do.
While they aren't an entertainment outlet like Cosmopolitan or E! News, they certainly aren't a traditional news company like the New York Times. A lot of their headlines hit a gray area when it comes to attracting viewers.
One thing we've noticed in terms of actual reading is that headlines that are just like, this thing happened, don't do particularly well. And I don't know if that's because, like, if you're reading other news outlets, you already know that this thing happened. But it's things that, like, really promise, like, an understanding, like, why this happened or how this happened. And it's sort of it's been a good barometer for, like, what we write about as well, because it's like, oh, well, if you're really just writing that this happened and, like, 7 other news outlets have also written that this happened, like, maybe it's time to sort of go back to the drawing boards. There's a lot, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, there's a lot of gray area between the, like, very straightforward, like, in New York, candidates are voting headline, and, like, the Upworthy, you'll never believe what happened next when Hillary Clinton went to the polls. And, like, I think, you know, if you really want to do good work, you want people to read it. And obviously everybody has to find the own balance of what fits their brand and what they're comfortable with. But I do know also for, like, some younger people their headlines are a real source of frustration for that exact reason. And they have started to experiment with different headlines as well. So, you know, yeah, I would say, like, A, I don't think everybody should be us. I don't think everybody should be BuzzFeed. I don't think everybody should be the New York Times. But B, like, if you sort of look at it not as, like, the internet is a creature we're trying to trick into doing something, and instead is, like, this work is great. Like, how do we promote this great work in a way that makes people want to come in and look at it? Like, I think that's sort of a healthy way to look at it. I don't think it's ethical. I don't think it's an issue of ethics necessarily. Like, if you shouldn't be lying in a headline. I do think it's a problem. Like, if you're promising something that's amazing or that you will never believe it, like, you should not believe what happened next. And a lot of times it's like, oh, I think I can guess what happened next. So on the other hand, like, I click on those. So it is, I think it's easy to like roll your eyes at it and to roll your eyes at the conventions. I don't think it's, I wouldn't say it rises to the level of ethics. I would say that like people should think about like, are they making false promises? Is it truth in advertising, I guess, is what I would say. And it's a pretty mild form of truth in advertising because it's like you don't have to buy anything. You just click through and you find out. But people's time is valuable and you shouldn't encourage people to waste their time, I guess is what I would say.
So the question really stays, what is clickbait? Where is that fine line? Even if it isn't a listicle or a headline implying you'll never believe this, there are still forms of faulty clickbait headlines that are used in Vox.